Bojo, Sam Navarre and Dejnikos, miigwech for clicking on the video. I'm going to take this really odd opportunity here in April to share with you guys a winter story because it's freezing rain outside. It's 9:19 a.m. this morning in White Beach, Oklahoma. But this is the story of the Birchbark Canoe. There are pieces of it that don't quite make sense to me, but I've been going down this rabbit hole for a little while, and this is starting to make an odd bit of sense. And before I do, I'd just like to say miigwech to Richard Abbey for inviting me to post videos to his page. And he'd asked me to do this a while back. I haven't gotten around to doing it. But Richard sends me a lot of good stuff from out there in California. He works on a farm, the Shke farm, and he sends me Ninsema. He sends me tobacco that he grows. It doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have any of the crap in it that I don't want. Whenever I put it down in the morning to pray with, it doesn't have any of the crap. This is the Ninsema. You can see, my lighting's not very good, but it's brown. This is the Ojibwe tobacco. He even labeled it for me. And then he sent me this I'd never seen before. This is Medewa Ninsema. It's Ojibwe tobacco, but it's the traditional. It's the green cured. You see, it's lighter. Like I said, it's green. When you look at it, it's green. I've actually shocked some of my Cree buddies up in Canada with this. They've never seen green before. Anyway, miigwech, Richard. I appreciate everything that you've sent me and everything that you do for me, buddy. You're good Nikon. And within all this research, I think Richard may be afraid that I'm going to prove the world's flat. That's not what I'm going to do. I really don't care what shape the earth is. I know what shape I am. I haven't seen a picture of the earth in forever. And finally, the first one I did, it didn't make me feel better. And I think that that's funny. But a lot of people don't. And so I'm not here to laugh at that. But I would like to share you the story of the Birchbark Canoe. A long time ago, a man, he came into the tribe. He was from the Man clan. And a lot of people don't know about this clan, but I believe it's the Bigfoot clan. But he came in, and I believe it's Nana Bojo's clan. But he came in, and he had a new idea for a canoe. Up until this point, everybody had used those dugout canoes that were round, and whenever they'd get them out in the lake, in the waters, well, they would roll or they would spin, but they weren't stable. And I think if you guys think about this, you'll see it's not a stable design. It's going to roll in the water. That's why we don't use that style anymore. Well, whenever he came in, everybody told him. They said, well, but not everybody, but he had this idea, he had a dream. He decided that he was going to make a new boat, a new type of canoe, and it was going to help the people. The people of the Fish Clan, they didn't like that at all. They said, no, no, no. They said, we rule the water. We decide everything that goes on top of the water. That's our territory. And the guy, he didn't like that answer. And so he took it to council. And council thought about it. And all the people of the Fish Clan, they're pretty upset. And so council, they said, okay, no dice. And he still wanted to do it. And so they ran him out. And I often wonder if they ran him out or if he just left. If I was him, I'd have just left. But a lot of people say that this is Nana Bojo that we're talking about here. I never had heard the story being about Nanabojo until I found the story from a girl in Scandinavia. Uh, yes, that's right. Our traditional stories are alive and well in other countries, and they tell them a little bit clearer. Uh, it's a little scary, but it's interesting. We'll be going down that rabbit hole soon enough, and debunking any of the myths that they may have made about us, and any that somebody else may be denying from us. I don't really know, but I'm interested. I like to learn, and I'm glad I've reached a point in my life where I feel like learning. It does make you feel young, so if you guys want to learn too, if you guys want to feel young, get you some learning. You might can share it with your kids. I'll try to keep it clean, because I'd like for them to learn. I'd like for them to have a better future than we had, and I think that that's possible. I've been a pessimist for a while. I think we have a better future, guys. I may not have said that 6 months ago, but let me get on with it. So the guy he comes into the village, and they kick him out with his idea. Well, he happens to find himself. This is probably sometime about our third or fourth fire, by our current method of determining which fire we're in. This is probably our third or fourth fire, and I believe that this puts us maybe about the year 800 to 1000 by modern storytelling. I actually put this story around 4000 BC is about my time tell of this story. Unfortunately, that the Scandinavian story sort of backs that up. But the one we tell here in the world, it's about 1000, about 1000, about the time that the holy wars are getting kicked off over on the other side of the world. We were going down there to get some treasure, I guess. We'll talk about that too. I've got a lot of good episodes for you guys coming up. It's going to be uncomfortable and fun. Uncomfortable and fun. I'm going to call it the uncomfortable pan, because it was uncomfortable for me to learn, because there's been no one here for me to talk to about the things that I've found. Academics encourage me to go further, and non-academics tell me to shut up, stop, don't tell me, no, I don't want to know. And I think that's hilarious, just being stuck in the middle here with nothing else to grab onto about some of these things that I've laced together. Let me get back to the story. I'm having too much fun pitching it, I guess. So they run Nanabojo out of the village for having this idea. And where he finds himself, he's surrounded by birch trees. He didn't have any more dreams. He just took the dream that he had. He found himself surrounded by birch trees, and he knew that people were using them to build wigwams. But he decided that since that's what he had available, he would make himself this vessel out of the birch tree. And as it peeled away, it became apparent to him that this was in fact what he was supposed to be using, because it was very lightweight and he could bend it and flex it, because the inside of the tree is waterproof. He put that to the inside of the boat, and he built himself a much better vessel. Now, he goes on to take the idea back to his people. However, there's a middle portion to this story, and we'll tell that later. Nanabojo takes his boat back to the people, and he looks at them, and, they're like, oh, hey, what's going on, buddy? Glad to see you back with your stupid idea. And he says, well, here it is. And they look at it, and it's interesting looking. It's interesting. And they said, well, what'd you do here? And he said, well, I took my idea that I wasn't allowed to have, and as I was doing it, it became apparent to also use the pitch to keep a bucket of pitch inside, and so I can patch up any holes quick. I keep extra sheets of birch in here so that I can also use those to patch up. But this tree, it's just produced for me, and as you can see, I came here to challenge the Fish Clan to whose boat operates better on the water. Well, the Fish Clan steps back up, and they look at his boat, and they're real quick to say, no, you don't have a right to challenge us again, because they know, they realize by looking at it, they know they don't want challenged. And so they deny him again the right to put his boat on the water, for the betterment of the people, like they always do. And so they take it to council, and council looks at it and says about the wisest thing a council could actually say. Why are y'all scared? Why don't you want? If you're going to beat him, if you're the kings of the water, go beat him. Because the council knew that the council knew it was flawed also. Instead of playing along with the game, they just went ahead and called them on the bluff. So of course they put them both on the water. It was easy to see which one won. The round one rolled and it just wouldn't stay put. And the canoe, it's still on the water today. Now the boat design that we had is similar to the huge vessels that the Vikings used to boat around the world in. The Vikings are legendary. They're legendary boatsmen. I don't know if anybody ever did it on a grand scale better than them. But when they came to America in about 800, they were shocked. And this is by modern storytelling, but they were shocked to see this boat, because the way that they had to invade the land, they had to leave their monstrous boats parked at the shore a long ways away, and then walk with their packs of food to live for months, sometimes years. And you guys are all aware that Vikings were here long before Christopher Columbus, I'm sure. I don't need to go into that. But when they came across this canoe that weighed nothing, because these people were strong, a canoe weighed nothing to them. A couple 100 pounds is nothing. But they were shocked that this thing they could travel. I mean, this was a godsend. They could even drag it with their stuff in it across the land. And according to their stories, they talked the guy into going. They kept talking to him. Well, he believes that the Nanabojo thought that they wanted him to trade boats. And so whenever they drug his boat all the way back to probably the St. Lawrence River. I don't know. I wasn't there. But and when he gets there, it becomes apparent to him that in fact they don't want to trade him boats. They want him to get his boat on their big boat and go with them somewhere. He tells them, I can't. He says, first of all, I have to go tell my people that I'm leaving. So he goes back to his camp, and he tells his people, at this point, I believe this is when he tells them about this canoe. Is at this point. And they deny him. We're leaving out the fact that he's going back with these people. It's either that or this is when they kick him out and the people from the Vikings find him first. It's one of the two. I don't know. You guys decide. Boy, I'm doing a bad job of telling this. Anyway, I'll keep going. He says to the people, the Vikings, after they leave, that he'll go with them. He goes back over to Scandinavia with them. Shows them his design in the canoe. They study it, incorporate it into their designs, and of course the rest is history. Now, as far as history forgets to tell us, they also have Nanabojo coming back at some point in our history, and everybody's shocked that he's been gone for a long time. Where did Nanabojo go? Where was he gone for so long that everyone was surprised to see him? Is it possible that Vikings did run across Nanabojo, were so impressed by his design in canoe that they invited him back over to Denmark or Norway or Sweden, and he went because he was an adventurous person, and then somehow made his way back to North America, in which everyone was so shocked to see him almost a full lifetime later that they greeted him as Nanabojo because they were so grateful to have him seen him. So what's real and what's not? It's interesting. It's interesting, and I'd appreciate it if you guys wanted to jump down this rabbit hole with me. If you guys know, Nanabojo is represented by his big ears, and I don't think he'd be afraid to jump down a rabbit hole himself. I appreciate the time you've spent with me today, and I hope you have a great day. Miigwech for listening. Again, Bom P, and be proud to be on Anishinaabe. We win.